The thinking that got you into this mess is not the thinking that will get you out of it. It's time to get unstuck, and I want to talk to you about some ways of doing that. Got to change your way of thinking, though, in order to get unstuck. You've gotten stuck for or because of some reasons. You've gotten to the place you are in through a pathway. You followed a pathway to this place. And in order to get unstuck, you've got to take a different pathway. You have to use a different strategy. You have to use a different method of behaving, a different method of solving problems, a different way of processing. So I want to tell you a story about a former friend of mine who has, for years and years, had a very broken way of looking at the world through insecurity, through competition. Like every time anybody said anything to him, he was offended. He's super touchy, very talented, very high-performing guy. But the way he thought, the way he thinks, all right, the way he processes, and the reason that he thinks and processes the way he does has gotten him into a terrible mess. And he has continued to use that same sort of thinking to try to get out of his messes, and it's made it worse and worse. And that sort of thinking has caused him to get into really destructive relationships that have destroyed his marriage. It's caused him to alienate his kids. He has these wonderful kids that are no longer able to have a relationship with him. And his way of thinking has created all this. And nobody can help him see that. And in order for him to get unstuck, in order for him to change all this destruction around him, and really, by the way, what he's done is just relabeled everything in his life, kind of redefined things to match his kind of paradigm. And everybody can tell that he is a total loser except for him at this point in his life. And he's not going to see it, right? So in order to see it, though, you have to change the way you're thinking. In order to see what a mess you're in, you've got to change your perspective. You've got to see things from a different angle, all right? And what that means is moving, like moving physically or relationally to a different perspective, to look down, look out, look outside in. And so for him, I don't know if he's going to figure it out. I doubt it, because he's been at this way of thinking for 40, 50 years, so usually it's kind of hard to change a way of thinking. But I love that Bob Dylan song, "I'm Going to Change My Way of Thinking." Great tune that talks about, kind of drives that point home. So how to get unstuck. To change that perspective, you need to change a few rhythms, change your actual location. So there's these three different kind of positions that you can, maybe in your calendar, let's say. Position one is head down. You're just working. You're just kind of cranking away on your day in and day out. You're just putting in the miles. You're putting in the effort. You're working away at whatever you work away at. You're going to work, you're doing your job, you're doing all your rhythmic relationship stuff, you're paying bills, you're hanging out at the house with the people you love, right? You're head down. Second kind of position is head up, where you're popping up above your regular routine a little bit, and taking a little time to observe. For instance, sometimes Sundays can be like that for me, where it's a different rhythm, it's a different pace. you're doing some different things than what you do the other days of the week. But what I'm talking about with head up here is a little more like maybe on a monthly basis, just pausing everything you do and taking a day or half a day and getting out of all your rhythms and just kind of looking at them from the outside in. All right, so that's head up. Can maybe making sure you're on the right path, making sure, hey, we got this plan, we're trying to get to here. Okay, did we do what we did last month? Is that getting us closer? Again, you're just getting up above a little bit. And then the third perspective is head clear. All right, so head down, head up, head clear. And what I mean by head clear is taking a significant period of time, a few days plus, to totally get off the reservation and to just reset. And in that head clear time, you're looking around at your life and your stuff and your relationships and your mental space and your how you process and why, and you're questioning the roots of what you're doing. All right, you're questioning whether or not you're on the right path in the first place, whether or not this path is going to take you somewhere good. You're questioning whether or not you're in the right business or have the right relationships around you, that sort of thing. But you can't do that unless you can wipe clean your schedule for a number of days and let your mind, let your kind of person just regroup. All right, you want to make a bunch of the noise go away, make a bunch of the distractions go away, make a bunch of the pressures go away. That's hard to do. But a great way to do it is just get off the reservation for a bit. So for me, I will generally I'll go out into the woods, into the wilderness, as far further away the better. And I'll do that without any cell phone connection, so that I don't have that distraction pulling at me. There's no email, obviously. I keep email off my phone anyway to help keep my head healthy and so forth. But so take some time. Now, I just lately took 7 days and went alone for 7 days into the national forest in northern Minnesota, Boundary Waters, and went canoeing by myself, and had no interaction with anybody, really. Saw a few people from a distance, had no conversations with anybody. Total solitude, almost total solitude. And it was very good for me. Now, it was hard, it was difficult, there were some things that were really uncomfortable, but that disruption, that changing of the room, that kind of making myself go from this vantage point to this vantage point, it was uncomfortable and costly, frankly. It cost me money and time and energy to get there, and I had to cash in some chips, to kind of be able to pull away from all the things I've been doing relationally and time and commitment and all that. But in that position, I kind of got down to a root level of some things I've been thinking badly, or some ways that I have been thinking all my life or recently that have gotten me into some messes. And I want to get out of those messes, all right? And so I got to change my way of thinking. And that kind of getting my head clear time is good for that, all right? So head down, just working away. Head up, you're kind of pausing on your journey to see if you're on the path, like if you're making good progress on the path you've set out for yourself. And then head clear. Is this the path I should be on? Now, if my friend would take some time to do some of that work and make some of the noise go away, he would realize, or at least he'd have the opportunity to realize that he should start thinking differently. So hopefully that helps. It'll help you get unstuck. Mark Whitmore, head coach, Lodestone, True North.